All right, friends, with summer right around the corner, where I live in Virginia, it is gorgeous outside, and I really don't want to be stuck inside cleaning and feeling overwhelmed by my things. I want to be outside and enjoying a beautiful day. So today, I thought I'd talk about 10 reasons how our body is showing us that our homes are still just too cluttered. And the first one is increased stress. So when you walk in your door, I want you to stop and think about how you feel. Now, not every time we walk in our door are we going to feel at ease, because sometimes our kids have been playing, sometimes things are just out. But on a general basis, when you walk inside your house, do you feel relaxed and calm and at peace? Or are you feeling an increase in stress? Like you see a lot of things around you and you have a lot of things that you feel like you need to tackle in your house. And so you don't feel like you can ever just sit down, read a book, and relax. If your body is giving you the signal of stress when you walk in your house, then that's an immediate, I need to go, I need to declutter some things around my house, because this is not how you want to feel when you're walking into your safe space. A big red flag for someone like me who has a lot of symptoms of ADHD but has never been diagnosed is that I have a hard time focusing and concentrating on anything. So when there is too much clutter or too many pictures around, too much of anything around my house, I have a very hard time concentrating and getting things done. So, like doing these YouTube videos, they become very hard and difficult when I have a lot of things out that I feel like I need to clean. So, often before I even start these YouTube videos, I need to make sure my house is vacuumed, that things are put away. And the big reason is because I can't focus and concentrate on what I want to say when there's just too many things around. The third one is our energy levels. And if there's anything that we need as we get older, we raise kids and we process through life's journey, is energy. And if anything can suck energy out of a room, it is clutter. If you are coming into your house, into your bedroom, and you feel so tired that all you want to do is lay down and watch a movie or lay down and go to sleep, then there very well is probably a clutter problem in your house. If you feel like you don't even want to get started because you just don't have the energy to declutter your bathroom, that's a sign that you need to declutter your bathroom. You need to declutter your room, because those places should be places where in the bathroom you can get what you need done and get out of there. And in your bedroom, it needs to be a place where you feel respite, you feel calm, you can meditate, and you can feel at peace so that you can easily fall to sleep. Because often I feel like when our bedrooms, especially, are extremely cluttered, we don't even go to sleep very well. We don't stay asleep very well. And when we do wake up in the middle of the night, we already are processing through all the other things that we need to get done. So that can be a big red flag for you if you are just out of energy, that you need to declutter your house some more. So those energy levels go right along with number 4, and that is it's compromised sleep. I read a study recently that links sleep and clutter. And if you are going to sleep in a very cluttered bedroom, your sleep is not as good. Going to sleep, staying asleep, and when you wake up, you just don't feel as calm and rested. So those two things definitely go hand in hand. If you are going to sleep in a very cluttered room, you are just going to be domino affecting, not having enough energy for the next day. And number 5 has to be the saddest one that I very much experienced myself as well. So let me know if it affects you as well sometimes. And that is impaired creativity. When my house is very cluttered, I have a very hard time being creative. And there are lots of things, lots of hobbies that I like to have and like to try. I love gardening. If you've watched any of my other videos, some of you guys have asked to see my garden, which makes me kind of laugh because I am so much of just like a dabbler. And I very much just like throw things in the ground. I hope they live. I love them. I take care of them. But I really only use perennials because I'm all about like, can it sustain itself and keep going without too much work from me? But I also like growing vegetables. And that's something that only this year, finally, I have been able to start a little vegetable patch myself. And that's my form of creativity. That's where I feel very much myself, is when I'm outside and I'm in my garden. So when my home is really cluttered and overwhelming, guess what? I never get outside. I get stuck inside. And when I do come home from work, or I am able to shut down, doing what I need to do for work, I don't even want to go outside and garden. And that is because I'm so overwhelmed by the amount of things that I need to do around my house. So decluttering and minimizing has really helped me to, this year especially, start those projects that I've always really dreamed about starting, always wanted to do, but never felt like I had the energy or the time to do them. Number 6 is something that I think a lot of us can feel as we are getting older and we have new experiences in life. And that is that we keep clutter because we're afraid of letting go. There may have been traumas in our life. I know I've had my fair share of my own trauma in my life. And for a long time, one of the traumas I was dealing with was not being able to have a second child that I really wanted and craved. And for a long time, that really affected me. And it made me hang on to everything that Carrie Ann ever had done, everything she had ever worn. And I had baskets and boxes full of her clothing. And while this is something that emotionally and mentally I had to work through myself, adding clutter on top of things that are already difficult in our life and not being able to process them because we hang on to everything in case we need it one day, it just doesn't help us move on. I've only really been able to come to terms with what my journey is right now and where I am because of letting go. There are so many times where I feel like when we lose people or things bad happen to us, things we didn't want to happen, the picture in our brain of the way our life should be changes, and we struggle with clinging to the past, clinging to things that we thought our lives should be, but it's not. It's just not the way life worked its way out for us. And that's okay. And I think processing through that takes time. I'm not saying get rid of all of the things you're struggling with right now, but if there are things like the boxes I was keeping of Carrie Ann's baby clothes, things like that in your life that you're really struggling to let go, ask yourself, are these things serving me? Are they bringing me happiness? Are they making me feel better? Are they helping me move on with my life and grow and learn from this situation? Or are they keeping me stuck? Are they reminding me every time I see them of things that I can't have, a life I can't have? And that's another way that we just keep ourselves stuck in the clutter. Number 7 is decreased air quality. And so in your house, if you are struggling, maybe you have seasonal allergies, maybe you just have allergies in general, like my husband is allergic to mold, it only got compounded by not being able to clean certain areas as best as we could because we had too much stuff. So when you throw in all that furniture and especially the stuff that's hard to clean or low, or you have to move it because it's really heavy, so we don't do it enough, mold builds up. You find leaks in your house that you didn't even know were there. It's amazing the amount of clutter and hair and dander and everything that can be in our house. And we don't even know it's there because we haven't been able to move our couch, or we have too much furniture to get around places easily. And so we leave them for months and months instead of being able to easily clean them and keep our air quality the best possibly we can. Whew, sorry, I was outside, so I'm like a little bit warm right now and the windows are open. It's a beautiful day, but it's getting a little hot. But number 8, I can definitely relate to, and that is strained relationships. If you've ever been in a relationship where you have either been the one that keeps way too much stuff, or you've had a partner or a family member that keeps way too much stuff, then you know what I'm talking about here. It strains those relationships that we have. Clutter is not easy for a lot of people to deal with. They don't want to deal with all of your excess stuff, and they don't understand why you're keeping it. Now, there are certain things that we all find very sentimental and we love, but when you just keep a huge abundance of things just in case, often it causes a strain in the relationship. It's also going to cause a strain in your budget. You're spending way too much money to fill up your house with way too many things that the other person doesn't even want. And so whether it's you or whether it's somebody else and you're being able to see the reverse, having too much clutter is very much a strain on every relationship that you have. Even if those people don't necessarily live with you, they get worried about you when you have too much and you're living in a place where they know it's very stressful. All right, friends, we only have 2 more. So remember to subscribe so you can get 2 videos at least every week talking about minimalism and decluttering. And if you like learning about these subjects and you're decluttering and organizing yourself, then remember to throw a heart emoji down below. But let's go on to number 9. Number 9 probably makes me the most sad. And that's because now in reflection, I'm able to know that I very much had a lot of embarrassment and isolation due to my house. We would have friends come over, we would have neighbors drop by without, saying anything. They just happen to be in the neighborhood. And I would feel this flush feeling in my face, like I needed to run around as quick as possible as I'm watching them walk up the sidewalk and just try to hide things away. Now, we were never a home that was filthy. We were never a home that was really awful and dirty. But I will say we were a home where there was a lot of unnecessary things, a lot of things always just out because I had a hard time cleaning up a house that was so overly cluttered. So if you are feeling that way, or you could reflect back on feeling kind of embarrassed when people come over, it very much makes you feel more isolated. Like you don't even want people to come over because you don't want to have to spend all day cleaning your house. You don't want to have to spend all that time. So you just don't have the parties, you don't have the gatherings, and you don't feel like you can welcome people over to your house. If you are feeling that way, it's 100% a red flag that your house is too cluttered. And I just wanted to tell you that that feeling of embarrassment and isolation, having too many things, feeling like your house isn't up to standards or clean enough, that's not your fault that it feels like that. It's not your fault that your house is that way. It's that you just have too much clutter. You have too many things that society told you you were supposed to have and you didn't really need. And so getting rid of all that excess can really alleviate a lot of that extra pressure we put on ourselves to have our house look a certain way when people come over. And number 10 is just overwhelm and inaction. When we feel overwhelmed, when we feel like we can't even start, we don't. We get stuck and there's no action. And I know I've heard this from many of you guys that have subscribed and written wonderful comments about your whole journey. A lot of us started with just feeling so overwhelmed, like, how do we even begin? Where do I even start? And that's why I personally started in my closet. My closet was a place that I knew I had full autonomy, that I could make every decision that I wanted, and that I felt comfortable enough making mistakes. I wasn't too overly stressed about getting rid of something that maybe I wanted again in the future. I just let myself kind of work through those emotions with things that I didn't actually have to ask anyone else about, which was very helpful. But if you're walking into your house and you're feeling very overwhelmed and you don't feel like you can start a new project and be creative, you don't feel like you can have a party, you don't even feel like you can start decluttering, that's a red flag that you need to. You need to find, like I found my closet and I found my daughter's things that I ended up giving to one of my girlfriends that was having a baby. It catapulted me forward. It got the dominoes rolling. And you need to find a place in your house that you can just start. That's the hardest part. It's the biggest step. But once you start, you realize that the world doesn't end when you get rid of stuff, that you can get rid of even sentimental things and move on. And the next day, you're completely fine. The next hour, you're completely fine. And usually you forget about it anyway. I hope this list is something that maybe you can reflect back on, and maybe you have experienced some of these things in the past or all of them like I have. And I would love to hear more about your journey as well. We all love to help each other on this channel. So throw a comment below and tell us a little bit about your story as well. All right, friends, if you haven't yet, subscribe so that you can get my next video very soon. I'll see you later.